Following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL as Willie
I've
Mason.
forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode number something or other of the Take with Willie Mason, the Origin
15, I think.
review special. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
We did
It's a
the
good
preview
review.
special. Now we're doing the review special.
Yep.
It's all about Origin, Will.
It
You
is,
were
mate.
up
this
there,
time
mate.
of the year, mate. It's great. I was up there. Yeah, I was. I went up there on Monday for New South Wales Rugby League and Deadly Choices. We had a great time up there. It was Willie Tonga and a few other guys. We had a really great week. We're up there in the Aboriginal community, just educating and trying to help young kids, running coaching clinics and everything like that. It was very rewarding. And the cherry on top was last night.
Well, I messaged you halfway through the game because I was very concerned about your physical safety. I thought New South Wales were up about 400 points by that stage, and your big head was sitting in that stadium, and I was concerned that some of the Queenslanders might have. But you were very well received up there, as it turned out.
Yeah, I'm all right up there.
They don't
Time
hate you
heals.
anymore.
Time heals.
Time heals.
Time heals. But yeah, Queensland were really good up there. Townsville, shout out to Townsville. They did an amazing job just the whole week. Obviously, like Townsville's not built for, these sort of crowds and the amount of people that were going up there and the flights and everything just got bombarded. And to do that in 2 weeks, and then have everybody accommodated for everything the whole night. They shut off Flinders Street. They had bands and was it Jessica Mauboy? She was playing on this end. They had a big screen up there, so if you didn't want to go into the game, and they did a really good job. Townsville was a great city. They love their rugby league. I'm glad they went. I'm glad they took it to a regional town, especially Townsville. I mean, everyone was very skeptic at the start, going, "Oh, it's a home ground for them." Yeah, fair enough, but New South Wales just had that siege mentality. They did, and I thought they would, but it was an outstanding turnout. Great from our guys, but like Townsville really turned it on. It was a great time up there.
I missed all the prelim stuff because I was standing in the freezing cold coaching my son's football team. But were the Veronicas?
Oh yeah, the Veronicas played.
They played? That's an interesting choice.
I thought Malboy would have trumped those girls.
Why would-
I haven't heard from him for like 15 years.
They're on that Celebrity Apprentice show. I don't know.
Yuck.
That was I don't know.
It was awful.
I don't know
Honestly,
why you got the
it
Veronicas.
was Veronicas. I was like, oh yeah.
When I think rugby league,
So
I think the Veronicas.
it was just Queensland entertainment. That's what it was.
But they're from Melbourne as well. It's just
I don't know. It was just tacky, man. I don't understand why we can't attract like massive stars. Obviously with COVID, but regardless of COVID, we never put like proper big stars in Origin. It's the biggest spectacle of the year, I reckon, in sports in Australia. It warrants something like with Super Bowls and stuff like that. They're getting, I don't get Beyonce and
we should get Beyonce.
Beyonce. Well, I'm pretty sure we can get
Bring her
Madonna.
up.
We're pretty sure we can get Madonna or someone like that. She's not doing anything.
Elton John. He'd
Yeah,
be good.
someone like that.
Do you know what? though?
Poison, Bros.
Do you know what though? I reckon
Right said Fred's not doing much at the moment.
we've got. They were good though, weren't they? They had one song. Don't you reckon though? I look at it now. You've got Billy Idol was probably the greatest one of all time.
Yeah.
Why do we really need the pre-match entertainment? Does
No one's
anyone
there
get
to watch
anything out of
that.
it? No one
Nobody's
cares.
there. Halftime, no one cares. Everyone is, where they are? Toilet or the bar.
Yeah.
That's
I'm,
it.
I'm holding on to that piss until halftime. Then
Yeah.
I'm rushing. To
And
the toilet.
I had great tickets. New South Wales Rugby League really hooked us up there. It was great what they did, what they do now, which is awesome. Every debutant, they fly all their family up and they put them in a box. Food, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. And the debutants, Luai, Liam Martin, so all the Penrith boys, Mount Druitt in the house.
Penrith were up there.
Oh, they loved it, mate. They had such a great time. And I was sitting there, Heine and Wingy and a few other guys, Beaver, we're all in the same box. And it was just, it was an amazing atmosphere for us. Because, going up there wasn't many Blue supporters up there. That whole thing was red. You can see that from watching on the TV. But we're protected there. But they were going off. It was some fun in there.
Good on them.
Yeah, and their boys played outstanding. I'd be so proud. Two of those two young kids and Liam Martin But those young kids, mate, it's a thunderbolt of energy. You know, it's a whole. The camp is amazing. What Freddie has done. I was staying at the Mercure in Townsville, and New South Wales was staying there as well, the boys. And I'm not that sort of ex-player that's going to go out and just try and hang out with the current players. If they come up and say good day, I would always say hello to them. I don't want to bother them, pretty much. You know. But, you know, I saw them. They come up and said hello, like Trell and Fox and Luai and Bizza, which is Brian Toto, his nickname. Just the young, you know, really embraced us and stuff like that. And Willie Tonga was staying with me, and he's, you know, obviously he's through Queensland. But he felt comfortable with those guys. Freddie's done an amazing job. He's really nailed it. Just the energy and how he got those guys up all week. Very relaxed, but at a just a real siege mentality. Come up, take game one, go home. You know what I mean? But like just the way that they were training and playing and how they played for each other, yeah, it was sharp. It was impressive. It was just a different energy in the team. Bringing those young kids in, bringing Toto in, bringing Luai, and having Latrell back into camp with the Fox. Their energy is it's infectious. It's really infectious. So got a really young squad there. You got a great team, man. You got a great team. It can really turn into something special.
Well, let's deep dive into the game itself. Thanks to bettingsite.com.au. They would have had a fill up, wouldn't they?
Who's that?
Betting site.
Yeah.
We were back in Queensland, left, right, and centre.
13 plus.
Yeah, well done.
I was just trying to get more money.
Congratulations, Betting Site, for taking all of our cash. But let's get into the game itself. I think. And this is probably an unpopular decision, or an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like the game. Do you know what?
Really?
I sit there and I watch. I support New South Wales to some extent. You know, just because I was born in New South Wales doesn't mean that I'm desperate for New South Wales to win.
You support the game.
I support the game, and I wanted a good game of footy, and I didn't get a good game of footy.
Because what I see when you're at the game, I think you see a different angle. You don't see everything. It's not, you know. So what I saw was a Queensland that was quite poor, and New South Wales side that was just on. Like I think, and I'm not sure how to go. If someone goes, was Queensland really poor or New South Wales unbelievable, or just I'm not sure. Was it just a really low quality game? Queensland didn't turn up. The perspective I got was totally different to yours. So what is yours? You think it was a poor quality game?
I look at the game and I think there are moments in that game when New South Wales lifted the intensity levels and Queensland couldn't match it. And so if I'm looking at an Origin game, I go, all right, New South Wales are going to score a try. They might even score 2 tries. They scored 3 or 4 tries. Queensland scored just before halftime. And there's that element of, the Queensland spirit, and they're going to come back, and, you know, you never know. They have to score first after halftime. They turned it up.
Yeah.
And the game was gone. And it was probably gone earlier than I thought. The only reason I thought that the game wasn't gone is because I bought into the Queensland hype of Queensland never give up. Well, they did give up.
Yeah, it looked like it. Losing Christian Welch was a big drama. You know, he does a lot of things that people that don't really understand the game and in the ruck sort of defence, and how he finishes on his front a lot. He got a little bit of a tip on, but his defence is outstanding. His runs are really good, you know. And then, you know, young Fotuaika, who's, you know, he's been playing off the bench a lot with the Titans. He's been playing good. He barely starts a game. Now he's got to play, 60 minutes straight, I think. You know, Tino didn't play his best game. David Fifita didn't play his best game. Jai Arrow, Kafusi, they were just on the back foot the whole time. Their runs were just getting belted. Like our defence compared to Queensland's, our defenders are way better. Jake Trbojevic, Cam Murray, 2 of the best defenders in the game. You know what I mean? Like they hit and they stick. Like Jake Trbojevic wasn't doing Junior Paulo or Payne Haas numbers, but he was breaking people in half. He was. And even Isaiah Yo's defense, Tariq Sims. Mate, you run at that bloke, he's going to put you on your ass. It's unbelievable. You know, like Cam Murray took care of Fifita. He didn't touch a ball for I think maybe 13 minutes, something like that. They really took him out of the game. It was weird to watch Queensland be like that.
How was it when it was live? Because, I mean, watching it on TV, as you say, there's a very different vibe when you're watching a game live as to when you're watching it on TV. Did it feel at any point in that game, and obviously you got the Queenslanders around you, did it feel like Queensland were in that game at any point?
No. No, not at
it
all.
didn't look like
and
it
even
on-
the crowd, like just say playing at Suncorp when I was playing, and even watching it the last couple of years, when they rip out that Queenslander, it usually goes for about a minute.
Yeah.
It went for about 4 times. I was saying it, Queenslander, blah blah blah, and then done. It wasn't going like that, and the atmosphere didn't really, because you know what, we would shut it down. So every time they were trying to get on the front foot, bang, dominant tackle. You know what I mean? Or if they were trying to get on top, boom, big run from New South Wales. Something like that. We just took the crowd element. We took it out straight away. So they had nothing to cheer about because that's their little 18th man. Their crowd is. And Suncorp's different. Townsville is a mini Suncorp. Everyone's sort of taken the blueprint from Suncorp. Bankwest and same as North Queensland. So I'm not sure what it's called.
1-300 Smiles.
Okay. They should have my face out there on my teeth.
They should.
Hey?
They've still-
I'm a North Queensland great.
You are?
Yeah.
Wooden spoon. 2010. Good year.
Yeah, me with a wooden spoon up there. That looks good.
Just holding it.
It was a weird feeling. I love the game. I love Origin. Everything's about. But I understand. I read a lot of social media stuff, and they're like, it was a shit quality game, all that kind of stuff. I don't really buy that because I think I'm just a one-eyed Blue supporter when I come down to it.
Well, I mean, honestly, Will, I'm not. I mean, I am. I want New South Wales to win, and probably there's been a number of years where, through obviously my friendship with Greg Inglis, I wanted Greg to do well. So
Yeah.
I probably, not that I'm, because I guess that I'm lucky enough to know some of the people involved in these games. I support people rather than. It's like with the Roosters. I want
Same.
the Roosters to win. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I go for players. I don't really go for people. I mean, teams.
I wanted New South Wales to win that game, but I also wanted it to be good, and it just wasn't good. Let's talk about Queensland's quality because David Fifita is probably, we've talked about this before, he's probably the most damaging ball runner in the NRL at the moment.
Easily.
There was one passage of play where he really wound up. There was no one near him. He came off the back fence, and he came straight at Cam Murray, and Cam Murray just chop tackled him one-on-one in front, chop tackled him. And I just looked at that and I thought, is he not running as hard? Has Murray got his... Like, Murray doesn't even know
Murray's a good
he's
defender,
edge.
but Murray's a really good defender. He is. He snaps people in half. But what you just said then, he had a lot of energy in that sort of set. But I want that from the start.
Yeah.
I don't want my most damaging ball runner sitting on an edge for the first 12 to 13 minutes. I want him to get the ball in the first set. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Show what he's
coaching.
got.
That's coaching. The onus should be on him straight away to get a touch in the first set. Straight away. I don't give a shit about your edge or anything. Like, you get in the ball, you get in the middle. I don't give a fuck. You get in the middle and you steamroll someone because they go off his energy. Because he's one of those guys, he'll throw people off, and then the crowd comes into it. It took him out, took the crowd out of it. Because he's the only real damaging ball runner we have to worry about. And he got nullified straight away. So a lot of their key players had some really poor games. But that's the beauty of Origin, isn't it? 3 games. You get to sort all that sort of shit out. But their key players, mate, have a look at Harry Grant. He's been underdone, hasn't he? Showed. I think he needs a bit of a break.
I don't think he was. I don't know. Like, Reid Marnie's been playing well. I don't know why they picked Harry Grant.
But, like, just say, like, Harry Grant has been outstanding. He had a great year last year. But he's in Melbourne and
He hasn't played.
He hasn't played. That's what I'm saying. He hasn't played. He hasn't put the minutes in. He doesn't really need it. But I thought he needed a break. Put Marnie on the bench or I'm not sure. Put someone in to give him a rest because Jake Friend was great last year. I missed Jake Friend. Someone like him who would make 50 to 60 tackles. You can put him back to lock. You put Harry Grant on.
Well, interestingly, you mentioned that because you're big on balance in a side.
Balance, mate.
And Brimson's there 14. Brimson ended up playing 16 minutes at the end at hooker.
Yeah.
Now, when's the last time Brimson played? You know what I mean? Like, it just felt wrong.
But it's one of those.
Queensland side.
It's very tactical now how you pick your bench, because everyone's going off what happened last year. Because Pappenhausen wasn't on the bench, they think it's Freddie's fault and all that kind of stuff. So everyone's trying to pick a fullback / winger / this and that. You need a slashy on your bench that can just play everywhere, like a Kurt Gidley, a Craig Wing, a Sean Berrigan, those sort of blokes who can just fix any position, but mainly give you a hooker a rest. That's what it is, because he's doing all the work in the middle. Harry Grant got spotted up so much. His tackling involvement would have been about 70. He would have made about probably 50 plus one-on-ones. And Junior Paulo, Payne Haas, big bodies. Tarek Sims every time he come off an edge. Isaiah Yole was coming at him. The outside backs were going at him. Travojevic and Latrell. outstanding. They just kept going at him. The kid's not that big, and he's young. He's inexperienced. I mean, he had a great game last year.
He did.
Who cares? No, I'm just saying he had a great game, but no one cares. That's last year's Origin.
Last year.
Everyone's going to measure you off your last Origin, and all of them were pretty poor.
Have you ever seen AJ Brimson play anywhere other than fullback?
No.
So why are you picking a specialist
So I'm saying,
fullback on the bench?
I would have. Reed Marnie gets injured on the weekend as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, but only because he was playing.
That's
He
what I'm
was in the
saying.
squad,
He should have been picked in the
He should
squad,
have been
and he
picked
should have
in,
been
yeah.
on the bench because I think because everyone's trying to hedge their little bets and go, what if he gets hurt and where am I going to put him and this and that? Like you don't know what's going to happen now because of HIA and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, hey, anyone can get injured. Anybody, your fullback to your front rowers is everyone's a free game. So the coaches need to pick that play. I think we've got the best. We've got Jack Whiten. He can play anywhere in the back line. I'm pretty sure he can play lock, back row, nearly in front row and hooker. He's just a footballer.
He's a footballer.
He's a footballer. I think he's the perfect number 14. It sucks. I know he'd hate to hear it. He's going to be part of this winning squad, and he's probably going to play an accumulated of 40 minutes. You know what I mean? He only went on because of the head knock last night, and he got like 5 minutes in the second half. It's just, it is what it is. And Freddie, as long as they understand that, everyone's fine with playing their role.
Yeah.
Like our bench was outstanding, mate. Payne Haas and Junior Paulo, all those blokes.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room as far as I'm concerned. And it's hard to say it after one game, but Paul Green, he finished in inauspicious circumstances at the Cowboys. He's won a comp. I'm not saying he can't coach, but he's on the back of Wayne Bennett. Wayne Bennett came in last year with the worst Origin side in the history of the world. And all of a sudden wins a comp that he wins a series that he shouldn't have won, and then all of a sudden he follows it up with Paul Green.
I think, honestly, players don't like him. Players don't like Paul Green. It happened at the Cowboys. I talk to players, mate, all the time. I know it. I was with players, Queensland players, last night having a chat with them. I'm not going to name anyone, but I know for a fact that they don't like him. They don't like the way he talks to them, the way he acts, all that kind of stuff, mate. I'm going to leave it at that. They don't like him. It's probably going to be his first and last year because it might be as sweet.
Well, I mean, it does look that way. And realistically, I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, but the amount of coaching, we've talked about this before, the amount of coaching that goes into rep sides is minimal, right? Like these are all the best players in the competition. You don't need to coach. You give them a basic game plan and you go, this is how we're going to play. This is where we think the strengths are. Mm-hmm. If they don't like a bloke, if they don't want to play for a bloke, how is that enhancing in any way, shape or form the team?
It's not good. I know that. And subconsciously it plays on you. Just imagine like they're talking in the camp, or just say when the players are back in thetheir room and they actually don't like the coach. Like, fuck, I hate him. I've been in teams like that where it starts. You start talking all this bad shit about coaches and
pulls
this and
at
that.
the fabric of the team.
You think it's not really doing much, but it is because it plays on you. I don't really like that coach or assistant coach or this and that because you got to be very. I don't know. You got to be very careful how you talk to these kids, man. Do you know what I mean? Like this is Origin. You don't really know these kids personally. Is it personally?
Personally.
He doesn't know them like that. A guy like Wayne Bennett can come in. He's a perfect Origin coach. Knows players, understands them. Just get that team to play the best 80 minutes on that Wednesday. He knows characters. He knows players. He knows how to get players up for that moment. Because players at that level, we don't have to get coached that much. And in Origin, you don't have to coach at all. Australian teams, you don't have to coach at all. We've all got the same players. You just got to execute and get every single player up for 80 minutes.
So imagine that a side that's just been pumped that badly, right? I can't see the changes that they make that change it, to be honest. Like they might bring Ponga in. I don't know who else they're going to bring in that's going to change that side. But
I heard Ponga might be out for more than game 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, then they come into camp game 2.
So I'm picking AJ at fullback, Feltz drop, Holmes wing.
You're moving on. I thought Holmes was okay.
I think he's the best winger in the world.
Yeah, he probably
That's
is.
the problem. Side note, Latrell Mitchell, the best player on the field.
100%.
Hands down.
Yep.
This whole narrative, I love Turbo. He had a great game, but he finished 3 tries. The shit that Latrell did last night, the one-on-one stuff, the beating the man, he defeated. Dang it, Gags! Imagine the shit talk. What's going on this week at training? Ooh.
Well, Gagai's out this week. He's probably.
I
hiding.
love Gags. Gags is my boy. Gags is my
Be
boy,
hiding.
and so's Trell. Man, that was a clinic. That was a clinic, man. He was outstanding. He was the best player on the field, easily, hands down. Tommy Gunn second, Cleary third.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be biased because I think Payne Haas was fucking outstanding, and Junior Paula, our bench was a bunch of animals compared to their bench, nearly 200 meters. Finished on the front all the time. But Latrell was outstanding. What he did, I think the narrative right now should be Latrell's. Like, it's Latrell's origin. You know what I mean? Everyone's going, oh, Tommy Turbo and all this kind of stuff. I love Turbo, but the game was won from Latrell. Not one, but like he was just schooling blokes. Proper. Give me a look at these stats.
He made 154 metres, and they're tough metres too. I think the thing with Mitchell as well, I don't know what it is, but there's something about him that people look past his ability and they look at him, they don't like him. Oh, he does this and he does that. I'll tell you what, as a footballer, when he's on, I don't think there's a more damaging footballer in the NRL. And that's taking into account every single person that plays. I don't know a bloke that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck like Latrell Mitchell can, and he did last night. People said he's not an Origin player. I'll tell you what.
He topped the meters. He topped the meters in both teams, and he's a left side centre. He beat everybody. So look at those stats. He's getting so much defence around him. He's getting the inside defence and then the outside, and he's creating so much. He's doing ones off the 9. You know what I mean? The yards that he's getting, the meters that he's earning every
yards.
meter.
Yeah.
He's not getting stuff off the kickoff. He's not getting all these kind of the dropouts and stuff. He's getting ball like too wide, so defense is moving straight up on him. So the yards after contact and everything like that, outstanding, mate. He's ridiculous. What about this? Like David Fitter, he led the meters on Queensland, didn't he? 15 hit ups, 116 meters, and everyone thought he had a bad game. I'd hate to see him have a good game if he's gonna rip those meters out.
But as you
outside
said,
backs, look at this: 181 meters, 215. Latrell 154. Turbo 160. Oh, Turbo led. Sorry, fuck.
yeah, but there was some long range tries as well with him. So
I don't trust the Telegraph stats anyway.
look, my issue with Queensland is that they have just been towed up. Not only have they been towed up, they haven't really got a huge amount of personnel changes that they can do. And I think that New South Wales side just gets better.
Well, players like Crichton, he would have been one of the first back rows picked. He can't get in the side.
No.
There's no way Freddie's going to change that side. Who else would you pick for Queensland? What would you do in the back row? What would you do in the front row? Who's there?
They're the best they've got. That's the thing. They are the best they've got. And last year they said that they and again, I come back to it because I think this year's Queensland side would beat last year's Queensland side. If you put them on paper and you played them against each other, they win. This year's side wins. So the only difference is Wayne Bennett versus Paul Green, right? Because Fittler's the same.
They didn't look up for it, mate.
They didn't look up for it.
You know, like you can tell by the first 10 sets from New South Wales and defensively from Queensland, we were making 50 to 60 metres a set. Traditionally in Origin, you're probably making 40 metres and less every set. And they're making 60 plus. Our outside backs were just monstering them. You know, like even starting Jake and having Junior Paulo and Payne Haas coming off the bench and just absolutely killing it. That was a game changer. So when Jake does all the little things that people don't notice, he doesn't do all the big busting runs and all that kind of stuff, but his defense around the middle was unbelievable. Isaiah Yeo, what he did in the 77th minute when he saved that try,
that was great.
That is an Origin moment, and that's what Origin's about. He didn't have no right to save that try. Could have been 50 to 10. Happy with that, aren't you? No, not him. He's one of those players. He's an Origin player. That was an Origin play. And that's one of the things that Freddie will be replaying. Freddie won't be replaying many tries. Not much at all. He'll be replaying it. Daniel Saifidi try, straight through the middle, and that defence. that was outstanding. Well, even like anybody who knows the game at all, you're looking at it going, yep, that's an Origin play. No need to be there. Still there, still turned up, and that was brilliant. And that's what Freddie wants, and that's what Freddie's installed in these guys, and it's amazing.
Well, speaking about Origin plays, the big thing that was one of the big things before the game was how would Origin be refereed? How would the referees approach the game? Is it going to be different for referees or whatever? And you got to say it was 100% refereed differently than what an NRL game is. Now, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is the consistency that they're talking about, is that now all of a sudden because there's more money involved and there's more eyes on, it becomes more important that they just take the foot off the pedal a little bit with all these penalties?
Let's just really dissect that whole of last week with, the refs coming out, and it's all about just clickbait stuff, and it was front page of the Telegraph and all that kind of stuff. Like, these players had an inside run. I suppose I was with Badge during the week. He said that the players already knew that the ref that they weren't going to ref the same as in Magic Week and all that sort of bullshit. Because it's Origin. Everyone knew that. So the players knew that they can go out there and get a little bit wild, because there's a couple of incidences there where they should have been sin bin if they were going off what happened on Magic Week. So I look at that and just say, oh, God, just fucking shit media again. You know what I mean? Just like another story. It's not a bullshit. It's Origin. Anything they say, refs say this, that. It's a big story. It's clickbait, it's views, it's comments and bullshit. Like, the players did not care at all because they got the inside run. You know what I mean? So both teams knew that they'd come out there, they could push it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I think, they don't really care. I looked at that and went, ugh, who cares? It's not, because if you know, you know. It's just like, it's not going to get ref the same as a club, because it never has.
Because if you look at it realistically, that Fodawaker late hit, he's got a week for it. Now, he was late. There's no question he was late. The felt hit on Cam Murray, he was genuine contact to the head.
Yep.
If that's a club game at Magic Round or beyond,
10 minutes.
That's 10 in the mid, 100%. Wasn't even
2
a penalty.
weeks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So the players knew they can get away with a little bit more, and they always do, because it's Origin. Regardless of what it says in the paper, all that kind of bullshit, sells papers. That's it.
All right, so if that's the truth, and you look at the ratings, so the ratings for
it is 100%.
this Origin.
I said it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, you've said it, but looking at it realistically, Will, what credibility does that then give the NRL's new crackdown if they're saying, all right, well, 3 games a year, we're going to just turn a blind eye to whatever, but we really care about player welfare and we can't do this. If they then turn around for 3 games of the year and say, you know what, Nathan Cleary, go out there with half your head knocked off, that's sweet. Cam Murray, you stumble around and you've clearly failed an HAO, but you keep playing, champ. Yeah. How's the credibility for the NRL all of a sudden?
Well, all of us, it's still the same, because they've probably got no credibility, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, they come out and say some shit, they don't really stick by what they're doing. Inconsistency all the time. So I think a lot of people are just used to the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's going to be ref the same as Magic Round. No, it's not.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. You just proved it again. Like, I'm sitting there watching it, and I know for a fact that it's going to be ref different. And it happens. And this week it probably changed again. And that's why people get frustrated. And that's why coaches and players, fans get frustrated. I can understand why, because it's just a load of shit. Everything they say, it's just to appease someone else. It's unbelievable. And I'm used to it, because it's just a shit show.
The thing is as well, like, you look at last year with the rating, so there's no question that Origin is a money spinner for the NRL. There's no question at all. And so last year at the end of COVID, they have the Origin at the end of the year, and it rates, I think, 1.6 million for...
Was that last year?
That was last year. Now, all of a sudden, the ratings for this one, at the peak of it, it was 3.1. So they know they got more eyes on. It's partially because it's mid-year and people, people were over footy by the end of last year. They were playing at Christmas Day, basically. But all of a sudden now you go, all right, well, you got more eyes on. So surely that's when you do have to actually, if you're going to worry about little Johnny playing footy, then that hit on Felt, or when Cameron Munster's kicked Liam Martin, you got to deal with that. But no, they haven't.
Well, they don't. As I said, they really don't care. It's just about they put a message out there and they just do another thing. It's just the way they do it all the time. So a person like me who's seen this all before, it's just the same old news. You know what I mean? I just don't really care. Whatever's in the paper, whatever they say and mean, they just do another thing. So I knew it was going to get refed another way. The players knew that, and that's why they did that. That's why they played like that. because it does happen. I mean, when I was playing Origin stuff, you knew you could go out there and get real wild, and there was no repercussions to your actions. Test matches and shit like that time in 2006 when I had a fight with Field, and then hit the halfback in the head. I would have been sent off and got 10 weeks right now.
You nearly killed that halfback.
All they said was, Willie, settle down. Settle down. I said, yeah, no worries.
Which
Next
one?
minute, bang.
After which one did they
after
settle?
which incident?
After which of
And
the
I've
two?
watched shit like that
Life
go.
ban.
Watch shit like that go down. It's like the game's become a lot more tame. The players are awesome. Their tackle tech is amazing. They're trying to, like, imagine getting, like, I don't understand how to explain it. Like, just say the evolution of the game, but the rule changes with it. These guys are big, strong, fast, athletic, and all that kind of stuff. And you keep changing, you keep moving the goalposts a little bit, and they just keep evolving with it. But obviously, there's going to be mistakes all the time with tackle tech and all that kind of stuff. And I've been echoing this the whole time. Shoulders to the face, all that dirty shit, get out. Then last night they had the perfect chance because that hit Cam Murray. That's 10 minutes in the bin. Imagine if they stuck to their guns or anything like that. If they sent someone off in the first 2 or 3 sets, people would be turning that. It'd be 3.1. It'd be straight down to 2 million. Yeah. They know that because it's all about ratings. Once they see those numbers, they're like, fucking just keep it going because people are watching. Fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
And those messages are going to people. The broadcasters down to this, to, you know what I mean? It filters down, and that's what happens.
Speaking about broadcasters, first and foremost, I missed the feel good thing because I missed the start of the line, but that thing that he does where he does it at the start of the game.
Did he do it?
He did it. You wouldn't have seen it actually. Look it up. It's unreal.
He's the best. Gus is the best.
Unreal.
Gus
Shivers
is
down
the
the
best.
spine. So,
in conclusion,
last point, will this be the start of a New South Wales dynasty?
Yes.
And
Look
was
at
it a
me,
dynasty?
front runner.
But
I'll
was
bag
it-
the hell out of the game next week too.
Imagine if they didn't lose that game last year, and they're coming into
4.
4-0.
Remember last time we're on the verge of that?
You were playing.
Yeah.
They wanted to shut Origin down.
And then everyone come out, Origin's dying, and they're all Queenslanders, mind you. But when you guys win 9 out of 10, it's the best thing in the
It's
world.
the best thing in the world.
I love it. I think Mal Meninga come out and said everybody who's Pacific Islander or anything like should declare themselves. So people like Toto and Luai and all these guys, you should declare to play for Australia because if you play Origin. Come on, man. Petro Sivanasiva played for Fiji. Lottie Takiri did. Tony Carroll played for New Zealand.
Adrian Lamb.
Come on, man. All right.
Brad Thorne played for the All Blacks.
Yes. Come on, Mel. You're better than that. You're better than that.
I think they're clutching now. All right. So it is the start of a New South Wales dynasty.
Hi, Tiana from the Green Room podcast here. Join me with an exclusive backstage pass featuring in-depth conversations and a bunch of personal and crazy stories from around the world. With some of the biggest names in music, film, comedy, and everything in between, these definitely aren't your average interviews. Come join me in the Green Room. Presented by the Handshake Agency. Check it out at thepodcast.com.au.
She sounds like a good sort. Preview of this particular week. I think I don't know.
Is it really? It's a bit of a dead
How
round
many?
after Origin.
Well, it
eh?
is. That's the thing. You used to play in these games,
Used to love it.
and
You'd be a little bit dusty, a little bit hungover. You got to actually turn up. You're the best, one of the best players in your team. And hey, the club pays you. They pay. If they want to rest you, you have that choice.
Do you reckon they will rest players?
Oh,
I
yeah.
reckon Tebojevic isn't.
Tom's rested. Cleary's rested. The blokes are a little bit busted.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask to play the Friday game at 6 p.m.
Sometimes it's different. I would personally rather play on that Friday than a Sunday because by Sunday you are sore as hell. Saturday especially. Like tomorrow, I think the soreness would just be kicking in. It's always around about 48 hours. You'll be all right. He'll play the game and then he'll be really sore come Monday. But Jake's playing. Daly's playing. It'll be interesting. I think everybody in Queensland will play because they'll be just pissed off. If you lose an Origin, you're playing for your club team. You definitely do, unless you're injured. But, Tommy's going to get a rest, which is great.
Well, let's quickly rip through these games because I think you know, the club games in between Origin are always kind of
Crap.
not crap, but they just don't have the same.
Shit.
Yeah, they're shit. Oh, they're shit. All right, so the Sea Eagles, Cowboys. The Cowboys really, without Trebojevic, you'd almost. I've tipped the Sea Eagles, but but
I just found out that Tom's not playing about
I've lost interest
an
in
hour
them.
ago.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to watch him.
I've lost interest in the Eagles.
Now I'm thinking Val Holmes is going to come back and just like try and kill it, and so's Felt, and these young kids that played awful on the weekend, they're going to make a big note to the coaches and everyone like that I want another chance, because that's the beauty about Origin. You get a set, you might. I mean, not the beauty of it's 3 games. Depends if you get that chance.
The Sharks and the Panthers. The Panthers have named mostly all of their Origin players on the bench,
So Cleary's not playing.
and To'o's not playing.
And yeah, I think a few of them getting arrested. I think Isaiah Yo's getting arrested as well.
Well, they're on the
Liam-
extended bench.
Yeah,
so
so I think yeah.
I
Give him
reckon
a
he'll
rest,
play him.
mate.
I reckon he'll play him. If he plays them, Panthers win. If not, the Sharks are a big chance.
Give him a rest. Give him a rest. They can afford to give these players a rest. It's a long year. It's a very long year. Like if Cleary loves his players, which I'm sure he does, he'd give these kids a rest.
Penrith are
Regardless
that
if
far
they,
ahead, they can
they
just...
don't, that's what I'm saying. He's got money in the bag. He's fine. Like
The Titans Roosters, Fafita and they'll play.
I think the
Roosters,
Titans will probably win, even though I back the Roosters, because of the fact that they've got those Queenslander guys that lost, and they'll be so angry at themselves and embarrassed. They want to come out and win. That's what happens if you lose an Origin, and your pride's hurt a little bit. You cannot wait to put another jersey on, and you can go out there. And I'm pretty sure these guys are going to rip right in. Big Tino, I saw those guys at the airport this morning, mate. They just they looked embarrassed. You know what I mean? When 50 comes up on you, regardless if it's an NRL team, you're like, damn, 50? Let alone the highest score in Origin history, and you're part of that shit. Come on.
Do you know what I love about you, Will? I love many things about you, but what I love especially about you is that you've just basically tipped the Cowboys and the Titans when we're talking, and yet
Hey, no, I didn't tip them.
you've tipped neither of them. Say 50-50. Mr. 50-50 on a coin.
Always.
Splinters. The Rabbitohs versus the Knights. That game will be... Where do the Knights go?
Ooh.
You obviously, you know what Old Boys Day means to the Newcastle Knights. And they went up last week and they were embarrassing, to be honest.
Terrible.
And the Eels, they've come off some pretty... They haven't been great, the Eels. And then all of a sudden you've got, I don't know.
And we, I was going to go up there if we didn't film last Sunday, our Origin special. So
We're committed.
I'm a very committed man, and Joey and all, I was with Joey all week, and BK and all the guys are there, and they had such a great night before, and they expect to roll up to the game after and have a good time, and then meet the players. They get walked around the oval and all that kind of stuff, and it's a big deal for these players. It is a very big deal. They travel from all around Australia. They come all the way into Newcastle, and all they expect is the team to have a bit of a crack. They don't expect much, because Newcastle on paper versus Parramatta, they shouldn't win. They shouldn't win, but they don't. Not a scoreboard like
Not
that.
by that. It was...
Not like that. It was embarrassing.
Actually, you know what? Here we go. I said we spoke earlier about who would Queensland bring in. Big Papa from the Raiders.
Yeah,
He's a automatic inclusion in that Queensland side for game 2.
I think they missed him. Big
They
time.
did miss him.
He's an enforcer, mate. He gets quick play of the ball. He's got a pass. He hits hard. He does all those little things good. Plays really good minutes. So, yeah, I think he'll be straight. He would have been one of the first selected.
Big shout out to Carmichael Hunt, who's making his NRL debut after 27 years of not playing.
K is back. Well done, kid. He's good. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but
People probably don't understand. He's actually been killing it in rugby union for the last 10 years, and so it's not like he's coming into this game. It's not like
he's been sitting on a farm doing nothing.
Yeah, that's right. He's actually been playing professional sport, so it's not that big a comeback story. But you know what? He is a terrific footballer, and I think he was probably. I think he probably could have done a lot more in rugby union than he did, and I'd be really fascinated to watch him. I think he's going to kill it.
Yeah. Mate, look at his journey. Look what he's done. He's went to AFL. He played all right in that. He was kind of successful. He's more, like probably the best success story, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got a little bit of trouble off the field, mate. That was the problem. And he's got his life sorted now. He's back in rugby league where it all first started, and hopefully he can finish the year off really well and play and hopefully get Brisbane, with a winning season, which I don't see happening. But he's a talent, mate. He's freakish. He was amazing, mate, when he hit the scene about 2006, and then when he left, and he's had a bit of a checkered career at the start. But who doesn't?
Warriors Storm. I don't know. The Warriors.
Yeah.
They are what they are this year. The Storm win that. The West Tigers, though, I'll tell you, the West Tigers are absolutely heading towards finishing 7th in the competition.
No way.
They are. I tipped them early. They
No,
won 2 in a row.
This would be good. This would be a good bet for him. I mean, a good game for him.
If Nathan Cleary's broken his cheekbone or whatever he's done,
He's been cleared.
has he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't worry about that next question then.
Yeah.
And the Bulldogs and the Dragons, they're playing on Monday at Stadium Australia.
Wow.
That is a bludger
No
of a
one
game.
cares. Nobody cares about that game.
Why would
at
you
all.
put that on Monday? I guess it's
It's a
kind of-
Monday game. Oh, we skipped today, didn't we? That'll be probably the ratings will be about 30 people.
And there'll be 17 people in Stadium Australia. The atmosphere will be electric. Are there any big boys playing in that? There's not that many.
Nah.
Well, let's have a look at Willie's big boys.
Nice.
Willie's big boy.
This week is an Origin special, isn't it?
It's an Origin special, so
I didn't really want
people.
Yeah, I didn't
that
want to
have-
play. I didn't want to pick the big boys out of last week's football because it was awful. But this week or last night, my first vote goes to Jake Trbojevic, even though his numbers don't seem like they're massive. You know what I mean? But the stuff that I watch him do, and people who play in the middle and know and understand how hard it is, the tackles that he does and the way he stops people's momentum straight away is unbelievable. He's amazing. So he's got one vote.
And they won the game when he was on
And
the
they
field.
won. It was already done after
was already
22
done.
minutes. He did his job.
Yeah.
2 for Junior Paulo. He come off the bench and he was just he was amazing, wasn't he? Like he just
was.
come off whatever. It wasn't that many. It wasn't big minutes, but what he did was just like crazy.
Phenomenal.
He was like skittling blokes out of the way. Make an impact, kid. And he come off the bench. He did that. His defense was outstanding. He didn't do anything wrong. Good pass, good tip on, couple of good offloads. Defense was outstanding, but his hit ups were outstanding. 3 votes. Payne Haas. When Jake come off and the middle sort of swapped around, he was outstanding. How hard he was running and hitting the line was scary. Like scary good. Like he was just throwing people. People just hit his hips and just get knocked out. The dude is a tank and he's quick. He's got some skill. He hits hard. He's got everything. So he was, if you're talking about the best middle in the game, the best middle play, last night, it's Payne Haas. Like regardless of the minutes that he played, but the impact that he had, just watching it live, I'm like, damn, finished on his front, I reckon 90% of the time, which is unbelievable in an Origin game.
Well, the exciting thing for me, being fat, is that the leaderboard now reads James Fisher-Harris on 11 votes, Junior Paulo on 10 votes, and Payne Haas on 9 votes. That is Penrith, Parramatta, and Brisbane.
And you know what?
The chances of any of those blokes taking up the Bondi Tonys one hamburger a week is minimal. We will. Henry's.
We will.
Young Henry's will cut it in half. Yeah. Young Henry's will deliver to anywhere, so it's fine. They're going to get the beautiful Young Henry's. We're sitting here drinking the IPA tonight. The Newtown is great. They can have a case of whatever you want. Henry, grab us another
And I will
beer.
have one, Young Henry. Young Henry. The kid's name's Henry. Seriously.
I don't think Uber Eats deliver Bondi Tonys. It's out of range to all of those
Oh,
places.
for me as well. For us?
No, we're fine.
Ooh.
We're within. So we'll just
okay.
turn up to Bondi Tonys. We'll go up. And anyway, so if you blokes win, I can understand completely why you would just give us.
Going back, have a look at these 3 big boys. They're the best big boys in the game at the moment, aren't they?
Well,
when you
they
look
are
at it.
in your eyes.
No, I'm just
'cause
saying, but if you
you
watch,
gave the points.
But regardless, if you didn't know, if you just watched the game and there wasn't a scoreboard, there wasn't Willie's big boys.
I agree with you.
They're the 3 big boys. It just cream rises to the top
It does.
all the time.
All the time. And froth rises to the top of a Young Henry's. And
Yeah, and that's it.
That's
And
it.
Done.
All right. One thing that we're not good at this year, there is no question we are not good at this.
When was the last win that we had?
I think I won.
No? Okay.
Oh no, you did actually. You did. You actually won. So it's been pretty average, to be honest. Not only. Do you know what's funny though? I actually copped the most shit about my bet for saying that there was an overs and unders market of 41.5, and I said Origin in the new rules, they're going to score points. New South Wales scored more points than the overs, so I'm a genius when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I'm not so good at tipping who's going to win though. But Harold from bettingsite.com.au. Harry, how are you, mate?
Can't hear.
He's going well. He is going well, but he's not here.
Well, we're back.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
back.
he is.
A bit excited. The Blues have won. I don't know what's happening. It's all happening, but we're all good. The Blues have won 50-6.
Were
How
they
good?
favourites?
It's all happening.
Was that
Yeah,
was
we're
that a good
favourites. We're
result?
favourites.
Yeah.
Was that a good
I think
result
it was-
for
I mean-
betting side?
No, I mean, for us, Willie, you were on Queensland 13 plus. I was
Yeah.
Queensland 1 to 12. You liked Queensland at the line too, Ian. It was a shocker for us, mate. We were doling out plenty of money. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't good. It wasn't
Yeah.
good.
Specifically in those try-scoring markets. Like I was all over Tom Trbojevic to get a double. I mean, a lot of people were on Latrell to carve up and things as well. Brighton Toto to get a double on Debut. Like, yeah, there was money going left, right and centre for those blokes.
Yeah, obviously the rabid New South Wales supporters don't understand the nuances that we know in a game for us to tip Queensland and 13 plus. Actually, do you know what? What's the market? So New South Wales won that game by 44 points.
They did.
Willie tipped Queensland 13 plus. That's a turnaround of 57.5 in the
Yeah, it
negative.
is. Yeah, that's 57.5 points. Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's big.
That's big. That's the most wrong it's ever been. So I'm going to go with the Raiders to cover the line. I've got to give them another chance. The Tigers with 11.5 start and the Roosters just to win.
Oh, that sounds good.
That can't lose.
Wow, that's really reaching out, isn't it?
Can't lose.
Sports bet, and they're giving you $5 odds, and I kind of like it.
Thank you.
Here's a little tidbit I heard this morning. The Raiders in any season since 1982 have never lost 6 games in a row at home, which, funnily enough, they're on the verge of doing if they lose to the Broncos at home. But Brisbane are conceding 30 points a game away from home. You got to think, just if there's one game they can get at home, it's this. They have to get it. Tigers, 11.5. They are against the Eels. They've lost their last 6 against the Eels. Would you believe that? 11.5. They are on the improve, and everyone was saying, well, you've got to beat the fake Panthers team and things like that. So maybe they get a bit of a bone to pick with everyone and say, hey, hang on, no, we're on the improve. Tigers win that. They're on the verge of the 8.
Correct.
So,
They'll finish 7th.
Yeah.
I said I tipped him in the top 8, Harry.
and the Roosters, we fresh off a bye. They'll be a bit fresher. Yeah. I like that at $5.
Thank you.
All right, let's
Really
go to
like
the winner here. Gold Coast to the line. I'll take the line on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, fantastic. The way I've read this, Willie, so I was just flipping out because you've taken them at the plus 11.5. It came through to me at the plus 12.5. And I was like, that's $8.50 in itself, which is more than the value of your actual multi. So I just had to quickly check. But no, you have taken them at the line. It's just a typo. So
Yeah, that's
okay.
good. That's good.
All right. Alex Johnson, anytime try scorer, which should happen. Mike Acevo, anytime try scorer. And I'm taking the Eagles at the line.
Ooh,
minus
okay.
8.5.
So 3 legs of this I really love. Tom Trbojevic is the only Manly player not backing up. He's on the load restriction. Okay, the 8.5 line. They are against the Cowboys. Cowboys have gone 6-2 in their last 8 games. That final leg is a little risky, but I like the other legs. I like the other legs. I like what you're saying before about those Titans guys, that they might get a little bit
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, they'll bite down on the mouth guard. I
What
think
price have we got for that then? And
Look.
who with?
Neds are giving Willie $8.20 on that one.
That's a good get.
Yeah, I think you're in play big time.
Oh,
That's a good
thank
get.
God.
The producer.
Geez, he's really had a good study of the guide this week, hasn't he?
Do you know what? I like that he's gone back to the horses because Harry, his bets this year have been nothing short of dog shit. And last year he had some success on the horses. I say some success. It's not his tips. He claimed that they were his tips, but he's got a bloke that tips him stuff, and he did all right. He's gone in for Randwick Race 5, number 7, Snippy Fox. There's a few people on social media that will be happy with this because they all want to know why the producer has gone away from the horses when he clearly has no idea about any other sport.
Look, Snippy Fox, the $6.50 with sports bet. Good price. What are we putting on it? 50, producer? 50?
Yeah, he says so.
100?
100, I reckon.
How
100.
much? We're going, okay.
He's got 50. He's got 50.
All right. So, Snippy Fox, big Josh Addo car fan, is he? Or
No, he just has no idea about anything. And so when someone says, for example, last week, throws 13 plus into his multi because Willie did. That worked well.
Okay. All right.
So someone's giving him this, obviously. I hope the bloke knows what he's talking about.
Look, come Saturday afternoon, we're going to put race 5 on, and we're going to see if the guy who is tipping the producer knows what he's talking about. So Snippy Fox, $6.50 at Sportsbet. Let's see. And if it comes through, let's chase the good oil again.
We'll chase it. So I don't know. I don't get odds or anything down here. What I do get is I get sore eyes from reading your bet. How many tips? There's 700 legs. Have you been taking William Mason's?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
There was a lot of short-priced favourites in the NRL round this week. So I thought that I would, look, let's go for broke. Okay, so I've gone the Sea Eagles. Now, I did this thinking Tom Trbojevic would be out. So I've early Friday game against the travelling Cowboys. I'm gonna stay solid with the Sea Eagles. Then I've gone the Panthers. I still think that only Liam Martin is backing up. I still think they'll be okay against the Sharks. Let's remember the Sharks lost to the Bulldogs, so they've got that in them. Then the Roosters, we'll take that. Rabbitohs 13 plus. I think that's just the easiest money you can get. Raiders, they'll get the win at home. Storm 13 plus against the Warriors. I think Nathan Brown's only won twice in 15 years against the Storm. Eels 13 plus. I think that game will be close, but I think the way the rules go and everything like that, they'll sort of blow it out late. And then the Dragons 13 plus. You're not going to believe the price I've got on this.
Tell us.
Well, the good folk at Sportsbet, I did some ringing around. Sportsbet said we will give you $45.94 if you enact the power play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
you've enacted the power play?
I've enacted the power play.
Wow, that is a big bet. That is a big bet.
Look, we will
admittedly
pull in $2,000, and the kitty will be booming if this comes off.
Yeah, well,
It only takes one. It only takes one.
The producer's actually been in contact with Bungendore. We're going to go down to Bungendore in a couple of weeks and finally catch up with them after putting down. We gave them $5,000 last year for them and Frankston. So it is time for us to really start winning. So we're actually out of time now because that bet went for about 4.5 hours, Harry. But, mate, thank you once again. bettingsite.com.au. Bet right with Betting Site. You're a massive supporter and we really enjoy talking to you every week, mate. So you have a good week. We'll speak to you next week.
New South Wales.
Thanks, Harry.
See you, Will.
See you, mate. Gamble responsibly, people.
Gamble responsibly. In big news, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Big news. The producer has stopped cheating because I've actually started looking at him now after jumping out to a
You're in the front.
Yeah, of course I am. He's jumped out to a big lead when obviously none of us were looking at what he was doing, but he was cheating.
Yeah.
It's official. He's a massive, massive fraud. And I'm back in front where I should be. So I think looking at the tips this week, we have literally all tipped exactly the same thing, which is
Shit, we have.
you read yours and then
Eagles, Panthers, Roosters, Rabbits, Raiders, Storm, Eagles, Dragons.
oh no, imbeciles tipped the Broncos.
Oh, nice.
He's
nice.
tipped the oh there we go. I'm 2 in front now because the Broncos.
I'm actually
are
feeling like I should swap a couple, but I'm not.
no, go on. You can.
All
He's
right.
not even here, the producer. We can do what we want.
Well, I'm gonna back the Tigers
Yep.
and who's playing and the Cowboys. Cowboys.
Why don't you throw in for good measure? Why
And
don't you throw in the
Titans.
Titans?
Yeah,
There
Titans,
you go.
yeah.
All right.
That's what I meant, not the Tigers. No, I will go the Tigers. I'll swap it. I'll go the. See, this is why I'm coming last, as I do this.
No, you go the Cowboys. This is good. Cowboys, Panthers, Titans, Rabbits, Raiders, Storm, Tigers, Dragons.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm coming last. I don't care.
Yep. You sure no one's hit the Bulldogs?
No, that's one team I want back.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm still in front, so that's the main
All right.
thing. We were going to do a Willie's headline, but we're not now because we're running out of time. And we want everybody to continue listening to us. We're going to do a Twitter game this week. We don't know what it is. What are we going to do? I'm at Camden for the State Championships Rugby Union, so it may have to be...
Sunday.
No, I'm there Sunday.
Oh,
May have to be the Bulldogs-Dragons game,
a
actually.
Saturday game?
We could do the Friday night game.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
Do you know what? We will put up on our social media pages which game we're going to do when we work it out and when we're told what we're contractually obliged to do. But we will do that. We would like everybody to rate and review. We don't have enough rates or reviews, do we?
No.
Do you know how many we've got?
No.
Neither do I. But we
About
need
300. Come on. We're on all the socials. Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter,
Spotify, whatever that is.
We're on
Everything.
Spotify. Get on that favourite podcast app. And we would like to thank, obviously, bettingsite.com.au, Young Henrys, and Bondi Tonys for all the support. We love yous all. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
They'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.